So for now, we are joined by online opinion editor of the Washington Times, Cheryl Chumley, as well as GOP strategist and co-founder of Maven Advocacy, Jeff Burton. Good morning to you both. Cheryl, what he just said, we've been saying it over and over and over again. Again, your reaction to the shutdown and truly who it's really impacting.
Yeah, it's no surprise here we are at the shutdown. I think we've been talking about this for weeks now. And as a matter of fact, when funding was passed a few weeks ago and they separated Homeland Security, we already knew that this was going to be a big showdown. So here we are, no end in sight. And really, I think this is twofold. I think this is Democrats' way of dinging and slowing down Trump's border control policy. But bigger for the Democrats going into the midterm, I think it's their fundraising strategy. And they show no signs of letting up. Wes Moore, governor in Maryland, just signed an order distancing their state, distancing Baltimore from cooperating with ICE. So it just shows Democrats aren't willing to let this issue go.
No, and you think of Baltimore, that is a city that certainly needs to be cooperating with ICE. Jeff, you know, House Majority Whip Tom Emmer says the Democrats have a type of intellectual disconnect when it comes to their wishes. Let's take a listen.
Now they want ICE law enforcement agents to show IDs, but they don't think people should show an ID to vote. There's some type of intellectual disconnect.
Do you agree with him there? Your reaction?
Absolutely. This is 100% a politically manufactured crisis, just like the longest shutdown in government history that we saw last year. This is the Democrats trying to feed their base and their activist base that will never be satisfied. We saw that after the last shutdown. And with this, with DHS, like Congressman Bacon said, ICE has been funded. It was funded last year in the Trump tax bill, $43 billion worth. They don't need the money. So this is just hurting the TSA agents who are showing up without pay, Border Patrol, securing our border, and FEMA, which needs stability after these winter storms. And it's a real issue. And like everybody seems to think, there really is no end in sight because the Democrats just have to feed this base for political purposes.
Again, just holding Americans hostage over these again, they're, like you said, they're political purposes. It's so incredibly selfish is I think the correct word for it. But Cheryl, let's move on a little bit. So CNN, they're pretty excited over some new polling that apparently shows Kamala Harris would actually beat President Trump in a redo.
Kamala Harris wins in a redo, asking folks, essentially, if you could redo the 2024 election, how would you vote? She wins it by, get this, 8 points, a massive shift from what we saw back in November of 2024 when Donald Trump won by a point. And I will note that this sample was weighted to the 2024 result in which Donald Trump won by a point, but yet Kamala Harris in this weighted sample, get this, she wins by 8 amongst a sample that voted for Trump by 1.
Wow. Okay. Cheryl, your reaction to that?
Well, first off, you know, how accurate could this poll possibly be? I mean, the election is so far into the future. We'll talk about fake news. We're talking about fake polls here. But the idea of Kamala Harris running again, it's ridiculous. I don't think voters were in love with her the first time around. And I think I don't think she has a chance the second time around either. The problem is Democrats really don't have a lot to choose from. So they have to keep bringing up the same old faces they brought up for years now.
Yeah, and then I think AOC pretty much squashed her chances after she spoke the other day overseas. Jeff, please weigh in on this.
Well, as a political strategist, what you look at is the specifics. Now, what they're talking about is the actual result. Let's go back to what CNN actually picked for their pre-election poll, and I guarantee it was 4 to 5 points for Kamala winning. As a Republican, I hope Kamala Harris is their nominee in 2028 because she will never be president.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying, please make her the nominee again. Let's talk about this, Cheryl. So Hillary Clinton finally being asked a little bit about Jeffrey Epstein. Let's take a listen.
We have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work.
Interesting. What did you make of her comments there?
Yeah, well, they haven't been forthcoming, right? Because it took months and months to get them to agree to come in under oath. And so that was the big deal, right? And also to characterize her husband as just taking a few trips, to the most known, sexual offender, it seems like, in years now. It defies logic that we're supposed to believe that the Clintons don't know anything at all.
Mm-hmm.